The wealthiest person in your neighborhood probably drives a 10-year-old Toyota, not because they can't afford something newer, because they stopped needing you to know. There's a version of wealth that announces itself. The watch, the lease, the Instagram grid that looks suspiciously like a mood board for a life that isn't quite real yet. And then there's another version, quieter, harder to spot, the kind that compounds in the background while everyone else is performing prosperity. I want to talk about the second kind, not as a moral position, as a strategy. Because here's what I've noticed. The habits that actually build wealth are almost invisible from the outside. They don't look like ambition, they look like restraint. And most people walk right past them. There are two things I'm going to tell you by the end of this video that will completely reframe how you think about money and status. But first, let me show you what stealth wealth actually looks like in a normal Tuesday. Marcus is 31. He's an engineer at a mid-sized software company in Austin. He earns good money, not extraordinary, but solid. His colleagues drive newer cars. They talk about the places they're going on holiday. Marcus goes to the same coffee place every morning, orders the same thing, and sits down with a notebook for 12 minutes before his shift starts. Nobody knows that Marcus has been quietly putting away 22% of his income since he was 26. Nobody knows that he hasn't had a car payment in 4 years, that his phone is 2 models behind, or that the watch on his wrist cost $40 from a Japanese brand that nobody in his office has heard of. Marcus isn't depriving himself. He's just stopped mistaking spending for living. That distinction, right there, is the foundation of every habit I'm about to walk you through. The first habit is spending like nobody's watching. This sounds obvious until you examine your actual purchases. Not your budget, your purchases. Because a budget is what you plan, and a purchase is what you do at 8 p.m. when you're tired and your feed is full of things that promise to make you feel like the person you're trying to become. The question stealth wealth builders ask is simple. Would I still buy this if no one could ever see it? The car, the jacket, the renovation, run it through that filter. You'll be surprised how often the answer shifts. The second habit is making your money boring. This one people hate. Automating savings feels like giving up control. But there's a study, Morgan Housel cites it in The Psychology of Money, about how the single greatest predictor of long-term financial outcomes isn't intelligence, income, or even investment strategy. It's behavior under pressure. Specifically, the ability to do nothing when doing something feels urgent. Automation removes the decision. The money moves before you can spend it. Boring is the point. Drop a comment below if you've already set up automated transfers. I'm curious how long it took before you stopped noticing the money was gone. The third habit is never explaining your financial decisions. Stealth wealth isn't secretive, it's just selective. You don't owe anyone a justification for why you didn't upgrade your car, why you chose the cheaper holiday, or why you're paying off debt instead of booking the trip. The impulse to explain is the impulse to perform. And performance costs money. A 29-year-old teacher I know has been completely debt-free for 2 years. She didn't announce it. She just quietly stopped talking about money struggles because she didn't have them anymore. People assume she lives modestly. She does. She also has 6 months of expenses in a high-yield account and sleeps better than anyone she knows. The fourth habit is reading differently. Most people consume financial content the way they consume news, reactively, looking for something that confirms what they already feel. Stealth wealth builders read to be wrong. They pick up books that challenge their assumptions. They finish arguments they disagree with before forming an opinion. The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley isn't a sexy book. It's not telling you to manifest anything or build a personal brand. It's a statistical portrait of what actual wealthy people look like in real life. Spoiler: they look a lot like Marcus. They look boring. And they have assets that don't photograph well. The fifth habit is treating time as the asset, not money. Here's the reframe I promised you. Most people optimize for income. Stealth wealth builders optimize for time. Specifically, how many hours of their life each spending decision requires. That jacket costs $90. If you earn $20 an hour after tax, that jacket costs 4.5 hours of your life. Not $90. 4.5 hours. Run that calculation on your last 3 impulsive purchases. Some of them will still feel worth it. Others will feel like a transaction you wouldn't have made if you'd thought about it for 12 seconds longer. The sixth habit is keeping a very short enemies list, by which I mean comparison, not competition. Comparison is the habit of measuring your financial progress against people whose full picture you cannot see. The colleague with the new car might also have a lease he can't really afford and a credit card balance that keeps him up at night. You don't know. You never know. The only race worth running is the one where the only benchmark is where you were 12 months ago. The seventh habit is underreacting to windfalls, bonuses, tax returns, a salary bump. The default human response to unexpected money is to immediately assign it to something that feels like a reward. Stealth wealth builders pause, sometimes for weeks. They let the windfall sit until the emotional charge around it fades, and then they decide what it's for. More often than not, that decision is quieter than the first instinct was. The eighth habit is building relationships without a financial agenda. This sounds soft. It isn't. The most financially stable people I've observed have an unusually strong network of people who trust them. Not because they networked, because they showed up consistently, asked nothing immediately, and gave before they thought about what they'd get back. That reputation compounds the same way interest does. Slowly, then suddenly, in ways that are hard to trace but impossible to fake. Now here's the unexpected turn. The thing I said I'd tell you. Most people who talk about wealth habits are really talking about discipline, restriction, a kind of financial asceticism. And there's a version of stealth wealth that does look like that, minimalist and a bit cold. But the people I've watched build real, durable wealth aren't miserable about it. They've done something subtler. They've redesigned what they want. Not suppressed it, redesigned it. They genuinely stopped wanting the car that impressed strangers and started wanting the freedom that came from not having a payment. They stopped wanting the holiday that looked good on a story and started wanting the unscheduled Saturday where nobody needed anything from them. This is the second reframe. Stealth wealth isn't about saying no. It's about finding out what you actually want when nobody's watching, and wanting that more. The ninth habit follows directly from that. They celebrate privately. When they hit a financial milestone, a debt gone, a savings target cleared, an investment that compounded past a number that felt abstract when they said it, they don't post about it. They sit with it. They might tell one person they love. The celebration is proportional to the private satisfaction, not the social signal. There's something genuinely countercultural about that, and something genuinely powerful. The 10th habit is the one that ties everything together. They think in decades. Not in months, not in cycles, not in market headlines. When a 34-year-old friend of mine put $30,000 into index funds and then stopped looking at the account for 2 years, it wasn't because she didn't care about money. It was because she'd made the decision at the decade level. A correction in year 1 doesn't change what year 10 looks like. The noise stopped being interesting. Compound interest isn't a trick. It's just time doing what time does. But you have to leave it alone long enough for it to work. Most people can't. Not because they lack discipline, because they lack a relationship with their own future self. They don't feel that person. They don't make decisions on their behalf. Stealth wealth at its core is a continuous negotiation between who you are today and who you're setting up to exist 10 years from now. Every quiet decision, every unremarkable Tuesday where you don't explain yourself, don't upgrade, don't perform, that's a small act of loyalty to a version of yourself you haven't met yet. Marcus knows this. The teacher knows this. The millionaire next door knows this. And now so do you. If this shifted something for you, subscribe. Because the next video goes deeper into the psychology behind why we spend to be seen and how to break it for good.